Have you ever begun something with a fire in your spirit, only to stop halfway and wonder what went wrong? Perhaps you started a small business that failed in 3 months. Maybe you learned a new skill, practiced for 2 weeks, then never touched it again. Perhaps you have changed your path so many times that even you do not know what you are chasing anymore. And now you sit there thinking, maybe I am just not meant to succeed. Maybe I have tried every single thing. But what if you haven't? What if the reason you keep failing is not that you lack a gift, but that you have never truly given one thing everything you have? This is the story of a man who traveled 100 paths and failed on all of them, until an old craftsman showed him a truth that changed his life forever. Stay with me until the end. In a quiet town where most people earned their living from small trades and local stores, lived a 28-year-old man named Adrian. Adrian was not lazy. In fact, anyone who knew him would say he was one of the hardest-working people in town. His problem was not his effort, it was his path. In the past 4 years alone, Adrian had tried 7 different efforts. He opened a street food stall selling grilled meat. It lasted 2 months before he decided the profits were too small. He tried selling clothes online. After 6 weeks of slow sales, he quit. He joined a coding class, finished 1/3 of it, and then told himself technology was not for him. He attempted photography, woodworking, teaching, and even beekeeping. Every time, the pattern was the same. He would begin with huge excitement, work hard for a few weeks, hit the first wall of trouble, and then believe the path was wrong. His small apartment told the story. A camera gathering dust on a shelf, a chair half built from wood in the corner, jars of unsold honey in a cupboard, a laptop with 17 browser tabs still open from his last forgotten project. Adrian's wife, Lena, watched this cycle with growing tiredness. "Adrian," she said one evening, her voice more tired than angry, "I do not doubt that you work hard. But I'm starting to doubt that you will ever finish anything. We have spent our money saved on ideas that go nowhere. When does it end?" Adrian had no answer, because she was right. Late at night, when the house was quiet, Adrian would sit alone and think. He was not foolish. He could see the pattern. He knew he kept quitting. But every time he hit a wall, a voice inside him whispered, "This is not the right path. The right one will feel easier. The right one will not hurt this much." So, he would leave the ship and swim toward the next island, never staying long enough to discover what was hidden beneath the surface. The worst part was watching people around him succeed. His neighbor, Hunt, who started a bakery the same year Adrian opened his food stall, was now opening a second place. A past classmate who learned graphic design was earning more than Adrian had ever made. They were not smarter than him. They were not luckier. But they had something Adrian did not. He just could not figure out what it was. Adrian's 8th try was a small repair shop. He would fix phones, electronics, small machines. He borrowed money from his wife's brother, rented a tiny space near the market, and opened with hope. For the first 3 weeks, customers came. Not many, but enough. Adrian learned fast. He watched lessons at night, practiced during the day, and slowly got better. Then, month 2 arrived, and business slowed. A larger repair chain opened 15 minutes away, offering faster service. Adrian's customers left. His daily earnings dropped to almost nothing. One Thursday afternoon, Adrian sat in his empty shop for 6 hours without a single customer. That evening, his wife's brother called. "Adrian, I need the money back. My daughter's school fees are due." Adrian looked at his nearly empty cash box. He had barely enough to pay next month's rent for the shop, let alone pay back the loan. He closed the shop that night and walked home in silence. When he arrived, Lena was sitting at the kitchen table with their house money spread out in front of her. She looked at him and said nothing. She did not need to. Adrian sat down across from her and stared at the numbers, the debts, the empty spaces where money saved used to be. Quote 5. Quote, he whispered. Quote 6. Quote. Lena looked at him for a long time. Then she said something that hurt deeper than any fight. Underscore, underscore, quote, underscore 7, underscore, underscore. He opened his mouth to reply, but no words came, because somewhere, deep inside, he knew she was right. The next morning, Adrian went for a walk to clear his mind. He wandered past the old part of town, where narrow streets lined with old workshops still held on against the passing of time. He stopped. His eyes fell on a small locksmith shop. He had walked past it 100 times before. But today was different. The sign above the door was old and worn, but a brass lock in the window caught his eye. It shone with amazing beauty. Every curve, every small line was perfect. Through the clear glass, Adrian saw an old man. He was in his 70s. He bent over a wooden table, his hands moving with calm skill. Something inside Adrian pulled him in. The old locksmith looked up as Adrian entered. His name was Mr. Harmon. He had worked that shop for more than 50 years. Underscore, underscore, quote, underscore 8, underscore, underscore. The old man asked. His voice was soft and slow. Adrian said, speaking his true feelings. Mr. Harmon smiled. Adrian sat on a small stool next to the table. He was not asked, but still felt welcome. He did not know why, but he began to speak. He spoke of the food stand, the online store, the computer class, the camera work, the fix-it shop, all of it. Mr. Harmon listened closely, not saying a word. When Adrian finished, the old man slowly nodded. Quote 12, he said. Quote 13. He stood and walked to the back of the shop. He came back with a small looking glass and a dark piece of paper. Mr. Harmon placed the paper on the windowsill. Sunlight streamed through the glass. Quote 14, quote, he began. Quote 15, quote. Adrian shook his head. Quote 16, quote 17. Mr. Harmon moved the lens randomly over the paper. The light spread out. The paper remained cool. It was not changed. Quote 18, quote. He held the looking glass perfectly still. He made the sunlight into one bright point on the paper. He did not move. He did not change his hand. He just held it there. 10 seconds passed. Then 20 seconds. In 30 seconds, a thin line of smoke rose from the paper. Then a tiny fire appeared. The paper burned. Adrian stared. Mr. Harmon put the glass down. He looked at Adrian. Adrian felt the words deep within him. He asked. Mr. Harmon shook his head. He picked up a lock from his table, one that was not yet finished. Mr. Harmon paused. He continued. He leaned closer. Adrian walked home that evening. He walked in silence. But for the first time in many years, his mind was not jumping from one idea to another. It was quiet. He thought about his fix-it shop. Out of all 8 things he had tried, that was the one where he had learned the most very fast. He truly liked fixing things. He liked to understand how machines worked. He liked finding the broken part and making it new again. He had not failed at fixing things. He had simply left before the work became hard enough to make him good. The next morning, Adrian opened his shop again, but this time, something was new. He did not set a time limit for winning. He did not tell himself, quote 29. Instead, he made a simple promise, quote 30. He wrote this on a piece of paper. He taped it to the wall behind his work table. The first 3 months were very hard, just as Mr. Harmon had said. People did not come much. Larger chain stores still had more business. Some days, Adrian earned nothing. The debt from his brother-in-law weighed on his mind. Lena watched closely, not sure if things would be different this time. But Adrian never stopped. Every night after work, he studied. He learned to fix things other shops could not. Old radios, old sewing machines, special kitchen tools. He watched hundreds of hours of videos on how to fix things. He practiced on broken items from his neighbors for free. When he felt afraid, he thought of the magnifying glass. Hold still. Don't move the light. Around the 4th month, things began to change. A woman brought in her grandmother's old clock. 3 other shops had said no. Adrian spent 2 full days on it. He looked up how it worked. He ordered a tiny piece. He put it back together with care. When the clock started ticking again after 12 years, the woman almost cried. She told her friends. They told their friends. News spread. There was a repairman near the market who could fix what no one else could. Adrian's good name grew, not from ads or smart sales tricks. It grew from how truly skilled he was. This skill came only because he stayed long enough to get good at it. By the end of the first year, people had to wait to get their things fixed by Adrian. People drove from towns nearby to bring him hard repairs. He hired a young helper and taught him. He paid back his brother-in-law. He and Lena moved to a slightly bigger home, not fancy, but steady, honorable, earned. One afternoon, Adrian went to Mr. Harmon's lock shop. He brought a small gift. It was a brightly shined brass compass he had fixed from a pile of trash. Mr. Harmon held it up to the light, checking the work. He nodded. The old man said. Adrian answered. Mr. Harmon smiled. My friend, Adrian's story is not really about fixing shops or locks or small looking glasses. It is about a truth for everyone listening now. Anything can work out if you put your whole mind into it. When you think there is no way left, that is the exact moment you have not tried hard enough. Not tried more things, or tried harder at one thing. This is what most people don't get. They mix up moving with making progress. They think changing paths means they are smart, able to change, good at planning. But really, every time you start fresh, you lose the months or years of deep knowledge you had already built. The neighbor who did well with his bakery was not braver than Adrian. He just never quit. He lived through the slow months, the bad comments, the doubt. And in the end, his work paid him back for his patience. Being deep beats being wide, every single time. So, if you are sitting where Adrian once sat, with too many unfinished dreams, here is what I ask you. First, pick one path, not the perfect one. The one you keep coming back to. The one that interests you even on bad days. That is your answer. Second, stay with it for 1 whole year. Don't question your choice. Write it down. Put it where you can see it every morning. When doubt comes, and it will come, remind yourself. The magnifying glass only works if you hold it still. Third, learn deeper, not wider. Stop looking for new chances. Start getting really good at the one you already have. The skill that makes top people different from new people is not natural gift. It is the thousands of hours that most people don't want to put in. Adrian lost 4 years jumping from one path to another. He had the power, the smarts, and the will. What he lacked was a clear focus. You have the same power, the same smarts, the same will. The only question now is, will you hold the glass still long enough for the fire to begin, or will you move it again tomorrow? If this story reminded you of yourself, hit that like button right now. Not because I'm asking, but because it's your first small step of staying committed today. Then leave a comment. What is the one thing you're going to put your full focus on starting now? Say it out loud. Make it real. Share this with a friend who keeps starting over. Maybe this is the message they need to finally stay. And subscribe to this channel, because every week I bring you stories of normal people who changed their lives, and the exact rules they used to do it. Remember what Mr. Harmon's father told him. Everything can work out if you put your whole mind into it. The sunlight is already there. The glass is in your hand. Now hold it still.